What is the overview of a property? The overview of a property is the tab where you'll find all the information of a particular property. From there, you not only have access to all that information that you might need, like details or comparable information, but also you can execute a certain number of tasks. In order to access the overview of the property, you have two options. If you have access to the follow-up system, you can go to your follow-up, click on top of the address, and you'll see an option that says Go to Overview. If you don't, then you go to the search section and run the search you need. As you know, you can either run a particular search by selecting one by one the parameters you want, or you can click on Manage Search and select the search you want to run. Once you have the parameters loaded, you click on Search. From here, you're taken to the result section and you'll see all the properties you got in this search. If you want to go to the overview of any property you have here on your results, simply click on top of the address. Once you click on top of the address, the Overview tab displays and you'll be taken to the details information. This is the first glance you'll have from the overview. First, you have the property address. You have the status of the property. On this case, this property is active for sale. And you'll have the REIFax value. When you are in details, the REIFax value is the market value of the property. You'll see that right here. See that it says market value and it's exactly the same number. Also, you have the media value. This is the market value per square feet. And you also have the information that applies in this case because the property is active for sale. You have the listing price. You have here the days on market. We have type of property. We have number of bedrooms also, number of bathrooms, square footage, year built, and waterfront. This means that the property is waterfront, and if the property has pool, you'll see that it will say pool somewhere around here, okay? So, this information will remain here. You'll see that this changes as we move along through the tabs, but we'll be able to change the information. We'll see it down here. First, we have details. On details, first we have the public record information. This is all the information that appears on public records about this property. Okay? If we scroll down, you'll see the legal information, the legal description about the property. We have the sales history and also the owner information. See that we have the name, owner address, and phone number. Next to details, we have additional links. This tab appears here because the property is active for sale. Since the property is active for sale, I have access to additional links, and this takes me to either the IDX or Realtor.com so I can see this property on those websites. If I click here on Realtor.com, this opens a new tab and takes me directly to the property page on Realtor.com. Please remember that since this is a new window on your browser, you'll need to have the pop-ups unblocked. Here you'll be able to see the information of this property on Realtor.com. And if I go back to my REIFax account and I click on IDX, the system opens the IDX website with this property info as well. There it is. I can go back to my REIFax account, and next to additional links, I have the comparables tab. Here I have 7 comparables. Here in REIFax we define as comparables properties that are in a 0.5 mile radius They have more or less 10% of the square footage of the property we're analyzing right now, and they were sold in the past 12 months. Okay, so we have the comparables list, meaning properties that fulfill all these three parameters, these criteria. And we have first the status of these comparables, the distance from the subject property, the address of these properties, zip codes, gross area, living area, number of bedrooms, bathrooms, either if they have pools or if they're waterfront, year built, if they're in foreclosure or not, last sold price, last sale date, and days on market if applies. If it doesn't apply, it will say 0. Okay? Here we have a market value based on these 7 comps. One of the things you can do from here, from the comparables tab, is to recalculate the market value according to your needs. Let's say that I want to use only a few properties in order to calculate this market value. I'll select, let's say, these first 4 properties in order to calculate the market value. And I'll click on this button that looks like a calculator that says calculate value. When I click on it, this adds these 2 columns. This says calculated values, calculated media. This is the new market value based only on these 4 properties. Okay? You can recalculate this value if you want to. If I move along, I'll go to active comps. The active comps are properties that are, again, 0.5 mile radius, more or less 10% of the square footage of the property we're analyzing. But on active comps, these properties are currently for sale. If you look at the status of all these 5 properties, these are active for sale. If you have any questions on what the colors mean, remember that you will always have the legend button that you can click in order to remember what the colors or the lines mean. So we have green with a black line, so this is active. Again, we have now here, up here, the active value. We have again the listing price, active value, median value, and as before, I can select just a couple, if I want to, of the properties that I have here as active comps, and I can recalculate this active value. This is my original active value, and this is the active value based only on the couple of properties that I selected. Okay? I can go ahead and look at the distressed properties. The distressed properties are, the first 2 things remain the same, properties that are in a 0.5 mile radius, more or less 10% of the square footage. But in this case, these properties are either in foreclosure or pre-foreclosure. We'll know which one is which because we'll have a P on this column that stands for pre-foreclosure and an F that stands for foreclosure. Also, we have rental comps. When I move to rental comps, the REIFax value changes and it shows me the rental value. In this case, I have a total of 14 comparables, and you have again the same option of selecting only a few and recalculate, in this case, the rental value. And this new feature shows you the BNB comps. This is showing us all the properties that are listed as BNB on the Airbnb website. So we have the status of the property, we have the distance of this property compared to the property we're analyzing, the ID of the property, the type of property, and the type of rental, zip code, number of guests that this BNB offers, number of bedrooms, bathrooms, the deposit they ask, the rating these properties have on Airbnb, the minimal amount of nights you can stay. This is average daily rate and occupancy rate. And by the end, we have here the mortgage tab. You don't always be able to see tabs like additional links or B&B comps or mortgage, because this only appears when it's available. So in this case, since this property has a mortgage, we have mortgage information. But if the property does not have a mortgage, then this tab simply won't appear because there's no information to show. So we have mortgage 1, borrower and all the information, and lender and all the information. If the property has a second mortgage, then we'll see mortgage 2, and if we scroll down, we'll see the rest of the information of that second mortgage. Same thing if the property is a probate. It's in a probate status. We'll see probate, and if we click on that tab, we'll have the probate information as well. Okay? Those are all the tabs available from here from the overview, but if I go back to details, you'll be able to see that we have also a number of icons on the top right corner of this screen. First, we have all this. We have PAR report, BPO, subdivision name, X-ray, and discount report. These are different reports that REIFax offers, so you can generate and analyze this area better. Okay, or this property. If you're interested in having more information about these reports, there's a video dedicated to one of each report. From here, from the overview, you can also add the properties to the follow-up system or to the mailing campaigns if you have access to these two options. Also, you can send contracts from here, from the overview, using the Send Docs button, and you can print this information. If I click on that button, I'll be able to print all the detailed information of this property. If I'm on the Details tab, then if I click on Print, I'll be printing the detailed information. This opens this dialog, and as you can see, we have the preview of the details, and we can either save as a PDF or directly print it. Or you can save this information to the cloud here in REIFax. The system asks for the name of the file. I'll type the name of my file, I'll click OK. And it now is saved on the cloud here on REIFax. If I want to retrieve this information, if maybe tomorrow I want to go back to that document that I saved, I simply go to the little house that takes me to the control panel. I'll go to Documents, and here it is, the document that I saved. If I click on it, the system will open a new window, and it will show me the detailed information that I saved from REIFax. I can go back to my REIFax account. I'll go back to the overview where I was before. And one other thing that I wanted to show you is that whenever you are in the comparables, active comp, distress comps, any of the comps tabs, you have, first of all, also access to the reports and to the follow-ups and doc options. You can also print, save, or export to Excel the list of properties you got here on your comparables. You can filter these comparables using different parameters. If I want, I can filter according to a specific property type. I can filter according to distance of the property, gross area, living area, yield build. Maybe I want to leave out the properties that do not have a waterfront or that does have a waterfront. So let's see. Waterfront, no. And I click on filter. And now instead of 7, I have 5 comparables, all of them with waterfront. And when you are again in the comps, any of the comps, you have access to the map view. So you can see on the map where these comps are located. This dark circle, this green circle, this is the subject property, that's YDS, this is subject property. And here we have the 5 comps that I had before. If I want to see all 7, I'll click on reset, and this will show me all 7 comparables. And if you need to, you can from here have access to this tree view simply dragging Pacman onto the map. Whenever you need to, simply go back to the grid view. And these are all the options you have available in the overview of a property.